Hello, dear friends. Myself, Dr. B.V. Pawar, working as assistant professor in Department of Chemistry, Okhla Education Society's Arts, Commerce, Science College, Jawar, District Palghar. In continuation of last video lectures about superconductivity, today we are going to discuss different types of superconductors and various terms which are used frequently in the superconductivity. So that topic we want to discuss in today's video lecture. In yesterday's video lectures I told you that first time the superconductivity phenomena was introduced by a famous scientist K. Owens, and he found that at very low temperature sometimes when the liquefaction of gases takes place at very low temperature, that particular substances or gases show some extraordinary properties, that properties called as a superconductors. For this work, scientist Kamerlingh Onnes received a Nobel Prize in 1930 on the discovery of liquefaction of helium gases at just 2 Kelvin atmospheric pressure, 2 Kelvin temperature and atmospheric pressure. So that means the properties of the substance can change by changing the parameter, that is at very low temperature and high pressure. So that property of substance shows interesting nature, and that interesting nature here is the superconductivity. Normally helium is an inert gas, so if it is inert gas, that means it will not help to carry any kind of current or any kind of generally it is inert, that's why it is not going to show such much good behavior in terms of conducting behavior. But here same helium, if you liquefied at 2 Kelvin temperature, then that shows a very interesting property as a superconducting property. Okay, then to understand the phenomena of superconductivity, in 1911 K. Onnes discovered this new phenomena, and in his low temperature research he found that the electrical resistance of metal decreases with decreasing temperature. Right? He found that the electrical resistance of metal decreases with decreasing temperature. You know what is resistance? Resistance is reciprocal of conductance. Opposites are the antonyms of resistance, we can say as a conductance. Opposite word of resistance is a conductance. He found that the resistance of mercury decreases with decrease in temperature, and it falls to an extremely low value which is near to absolute zero temperature. That is called as a absolute zero temperature or zero resistivity, which is of 4.15 Kelvin. At the same time it imparts very high electrical conductance. Okay, then according to K. Onnes, when he did such a nice experiment, then he found that for a number of metals and alloy, electrical resistance disappear abruptly or suddenly and completely at temperature a few degree above absolute zero. That means when you see there, according to K. Onnes, When you plot a graph, electrical resistance versus we can see temperature, then he found that for metals or some alloy is what it is, a mixture of two or more metals, non-metals. The electrical resistance decreases suddenly or disappear abruptly at very low temperature, and that temperature is called as generally absolute zero temperature, near to absolute zero temperature. A pure mercury shows almost zero resistivity at 4.15 Kelvin with very high electrical conductance. That means when you take a mercury is, and when you lowered its temperature near about at 4.15 Kelvin temperature, mercury shows zero resistivity and very high electrical conductivity, and therefore he make a definition, and the definition is what? Superconductivity is defined as a phenomena of abrupt disappearance of electrical resistance at very low temperature which impart high electrical conductivity to conductor and making it superconductor is called as superconductivity. Okay, the word super means it is always better than the normal conductor, or it shows some extraordinary behavior than the normal conductor. So that phenomena is called as a superconductor, that we had already discussed in yesterday's video lectures. Now another very important term we already discussed in the last video lecture, that is a critical temperature or a transition temperature. Friends, materials are said to be superconducting when they offer no resistance or zero resistance. That means, for example, copper wire, zero resistance. Material which allow to passes the electricity, when that material having zero resistance, the temperature at which superconductivity occur is called as a superconducting transition temperature or critical temperature. That means a temperature where the superconducting behavior or where the superconductive phenomena observed occurred, then that temperature is called as a critical temperature, which is denoted as Tc. That materials are called as a superconducting material with very low resistance. Okay, at ordinary temperature a metal has a measurable resistivity, obviously. At room temperature or at ordinary temperature a metal has a measurable resistivity, but as the temperature decreases, resistivity also decreases and conductivity increases. As a result, at very low temperature, which is about 3 to 4 Kelvin, resistivity decreases abruptly, making that material as a superconductor. So this temperature where the material shows such a behavior, that temperature is called as transition temperature, or it is called as a critical temperature. A critical temperature below which a material shows zero resistance is also called as a critical temperature, which is denoted as Tc. Everybody understood the meaning of critical temperature? Now, how electrical resistivity changes with change in temperature, that is shown in a table that you can see here. When you plot a graph, electrical resistivity versus temperature, then you can find out that electrical resistance decreases with decreasing temperature. At one temperature where that resistance goes abruptly down, it decreases abruptly, right? So a superconductor has practically zero electrical resistance. Hence, it can carry an electrical current forever without dissipation of energy. Due to this, current induced in the superconductor persists for a year. That means, because of zero electrical resistance, that material shows a very good conducting behavior. And as a result of this, that particular property remains in that conductor throughout the year. One of the important application of superconductor is the producing magnetic field of high strength. Yes, very good. Sometimes superconductor also produce the magnetic field which is of high strength. As a result, temperature below transition temperature, the magnetic field reaches to a critical value Hc. So that graph very clearly mentioned in the graph that electrical resistance decreases abruptly with decreasing temperature. That is, you have to remember. All these things we saw in the last video lecture also. In today's video lecture, we want to learn Meissner's effect. That is also very important for examination point of view. When magnetic field is applied to the substance, that means when substance where magnetic field is induced, the flux line of the field passes through that substance. You can see here in the diagram also. This is the substance, circle is substance, and through this circle we are passing what? Magnetic flux line. The extent to which the line passed through magnetic field is called as magnetic permeability or susceptibility. What is magnetic permeability? Mu. It is the extent to which the line passed through it is called as magnetic permeability, and this depends on nature of that substance. Meissner found that when magnetic field is weak, the superconductor expels the magnetic field and its magnetic permeability is absolutely zero. Mu is equal to 0 when substance which shows very low or a very weak magnetic field. According to Meissner, what he found first, when the magnetic field is weak or magnetic flux line strength is weak, then superconductor expels the magnetic field as shown in figure 2, that is B. Okay, and its magnetic permeability is almost 0. That means magnetic flux lines will not pass through that substance when magnetic field is weak. This effect of ejecting out the flux lines of magnetic field is known as Meissner's effect. In diagram A, where magnetic flux lines is passes through the substance, that means where magnetic permeability is greater than 0, and that's why flux lines strength is high, and that's why it goes through that substance. But in second diagram or in B diagram, you can see that magnetic flux lines is weak or low, and that's why that substance expel the magnetic flux lines, and that effect is called as a Meissner's effect. This stated that superconductor does not allow the magnetic field to pass through it. So second diagram is the diagram which is for superconductor. Since superconductor has permeability mu is equal to 0, here permeability is 0 directly. In first it is not equal to 0. The magnetic susceptibility X is equal to 1. It behaves as a perfect diamagnetic substance. So superconductors are commonly called as a perfect diamagnetic substance. Another important fact of superconductor is that it expels all electrical internal magnetic fields arising from unpaired electron, which is not possible above the superconducting transition temperature. What is important, another fact is the magnetic flux lines when expel the superconductor, all internal magnetic fields arising from unpaired electron which is not possible above the superconducting transition temperature. So that effect is called as a Meissner's effect. According to magnetic behavior, the superconductors are classified as ideal superconductor and hard superconductors. According to magnetic behavior, whether the flux lines is passing through it or whether it is expelled from it, the superconductors are classified as ideal and hard superconductors. When an ideal superconductor is placed in a magnetic field, the magnetic flux lines are repelled totally. And after critical magnetic field Hc, the magnetization drops to zero. That means what actually? When the magnetic flux lines is passes through the superconductor, if there is a ideal type of superconductor, then that flux lines are repelled totally, that means nothing will be goes through it. And after critical magnetic field Hc, the magnetization drops to zero. That means there will be zero magnetizations. In case of hard superconductors, the magnetization doesn't become a zero like an ideal superconductor, to whom we can call it as ideal superconductor when magnetization becomes to zero, and therefore hard superconductor having no magnetization zero. Hence, Meissner effect takes place in different manner than the ideal behavior, which leads to very high current density, and therefore ideal superconductor having very high current density. This behavior depends on microstructural properties of the superconducting material. This behavior is very, very important to understand the microstructural properties of superconducting behavior. So that is called as a Meissner's effect. It's very important for 0.5 marks that you have to remember. Okay. Now we want to move ahead that there are different types of superconductors. Basically, the important properties and application of superconductor leads to the preparation of various types of superconducting material. One of the very important question will be asked on this topic. The main 4 category of superconducting materials are, actually there are 3 categories. One is called as a conventional superconductor, second one is a fullerene and alkali metal fluoride as a superconductor, and third one is a high temperature superconductor. So these 3 types of superconductor we have today, and that is used in different field for getting the electricity. So we will see first type of superconductor, that is a conventional superconductor. What is conventional superconductors? On its name we can define that those superconductor which require liquid helium for cooling. Again I will repeat. Those superconductor which required liquid helium for cooling are referred as a conventional superconductor. Again I will repeat. Those superconductor which required liquid helium for cooling are called as a conventional superconductor. That means while using superconductor, if for its cooling if you required a liquid helium, then it is called as a conventional superconductor. Superconductivity occurs in a large number of elements and their compounds. Among the elements, niobium display highest critical temperature of 9.4 Kelvin. Hence, large number of compounds and alloy of niobium have been studied for the research of material with higher transition temperature or a critical temperature. That means niobium is the best example who shows highest critical temperature, which is of 9.4 Kelvin. And therefore various compounds of niobium, for example niobium tin, niobium germanium, niobium aluminium, niobium nitride, all these are the compounds of niobium, or we can say its alloy, shows highest critical temperature or shows a very good critical temperature for behaving the superconducting property. People work on finding various different types of niobium compounds. Some of the niobium compounds with their transition temperature or critical temperatures are mentioned in the table. For niobium tin Nb3SN, critical temperature is 18.3 Kelvin. For niobium germanium, critical temperature is 23.3. Niobium aluminum Nb3Al, critical temperature is 17.5. Niobium nitride NBN, critical temperature is 16 Kelvin. So various alloys of niobium, they shows a superconductive behavior, and all these alloys of niobiums are brittle and cannot be fabricated in the form of wires. So that we are using another alloy, that is gallium vanadiate V3Ga, critical temperature 16.5 Kelvin, and niobium aluminum have been manufactured in sufficient quantity to use as a coil. To convert niobium's compounds into wire, it is difficult, and that's why we are using another form of alloy of niobium or vanadium. However, preparation of conventional superconductors are difficult, and their mechanical properties are also very, very poor. That means it is conventional, but it is very difficult to prepare, to use in day-to-day life. Okay, so this is the first very important type of superconductor that we have seen today. In next video lecture, we will discuss another very important type of superconductor. Okay, now here I want to announce one more thing, is that in coming Sunday we are organizing one test, online test on the topic of solid state chemistry. So I request all the students of TYBSc, please study solid state chemistry topic, whole chapter thoroughly, and give the test. So all students should attend the test, which is of very, very important to understand the inorganic chemistry. Okay, bye.